Hey guys, what's going on? It's Premium Ghost here, and welcome back to another Unturned video about an upcoming feature. And today we're going to be talking about building and how building will make or break Unturned 2. But before we get into that, I just want to say, if you guys want to stay up to date with everything that's happening in Unturned, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Okay, I'm the one channel that's going to keep you updated at all times about everything that's going on in Unturned 2 development. But as usual, that's enough talking for me. We're going to go ahead and hop right into this. In the background, it's just me playing around in the firing range. Nothing too interesting there. But without further ado, we've got some building to do. So, building is one of the core aspects of Unturned 3, and it's going to be an even bigger feature in Unturned 2 for several reasons. First of those is that there are going to be AI bandits in the game. So you're going to need a base to protect yourself from them. Another reason that building is going to be so relevant in Unturned 2 is that Nelson has on his Trello said that he would like to have sleepers in the game, which basically means that he is going to have the player's sleeping body on the server after they log off. He says it could be, maybe new players disappear after a period of time, whereas geared players stay there for an extended period of time. So you are going to need a base to protect your body when you log off that server, because you don't want to be logged off and have someone come up and find you sleeping on the ground, kill you, take your loot, just like that. So we're going to want to make sure we have a nice base to protect ourselves. With that being said, bases are going to make or break the game. And I say that very, very seriously, because bases in Unturned 3 were very time consuming to build, but they could be raided incredibly quickly. And this is something that is, for me, going to be a deal breaker for Unturned 2. If I can't build a base and have that base be at least sort of tricky to raid, it's not going to be any point to building, which would almost defeat the point of playing if my character is just going to sleep out in the open. So one of the biggest issues that we have to face and address as a community for Unturned 2 is how raiding bases is going to work. Because if you recall, in Unturned 3, if you logged onto a server, you could have the gear you needed to raid a base in 30 minutes to an hour. That's how I played Unturned 3. That's how I know it can be done. I did it. I'm not the best at the game, but I still did it. So it's definitely something that needs to be addressed, because if you're playing Unturned 2, you build this base, a game that's more focused on PvE than PvP, and it gets raided that quickly, there's not going to be any fun in playing. So there are several ways you can address that issue. You can make the gear you need to raid bases harder to acquire, charges harder to acquire, military grade guns that can go through it harder to acquire. I think that would be a step in the right direction, making those rare, or make them that you have to get them from, I don't know, trading with AI that takes you a while to get there. Maybe you only get them from a certain part of the map that map area takes you a couple days to get to because of the gear needed. So you have to make sure we gate those items behind other resources, because if we don't, then it's going to be the same thing. You build a base, you log off, and when you log back on 30 minutes later, it's raided. There's going to be a whole bunch of shell bases everywhere, or people are just going to be burying their chests in the ocean or underneath a broken floor. That's what it turned into in Unturned 3, and we want to avoid that in Unturned 2 at all costs. Before I go on, let me know down in the comments what you guys think of base building in Unturned 3 and how that's going to play into Unturned 2. Do you think it's going to be better, or do you think it's going to be the same? But we're going to hop right back into this building discussion. So I'm going to go ahead and throw something up on the screen right now from Nelson's Trello of what he has said about building. He says that building will tie into crafting, and that there's going to be a master building tool rather than individual tedious placeable items. And this is awesome. You guys have no idea. If you wanted to build a large base in Unturned 3, which I like building in the game, it would take me ages to build it, because I had to craft every piece and then place every single piece. With this master building tool, you're going to be able to build bases faster, and you're going to save on resources, because you're not going to be crafting 15 walls only to find out you need 12. So you're going to save on resources, it's going to be more efficient, and it's not going to be as time consuming. So I have to say that that is one of the features I am most excited about. It's going to be interesting how this master building tool is going to play into the game. Is it going to be kind of a more just, hey, every single player has one of these items, or is it going to be something you have to craft? I honestly hope it's something you have to craft, because that's going to slow down the base building part of the game, which may seem counterintuitive to everything I've said before, but you also want to make sure that there's not just a bunch of bases spammed everywhere that a player built, logged out, and never came back in. So I hope that it is gated. Base building is gated a little bit, but not too much. Something that you can easily get, 15-20 minutes worth of playing the game. So that master building tool is going to change the way we play Unturned. When it comes to bases, if we do not have a proper fix for them, like I've said multiple times, there's not going to be a point to building them. As I mentioned earlier, one way to potentially fix the bases would be to gate those raiding materials, but another one would be to make the bases stronger. So make them stronger, make them harder to raid. Okay, if you go through all that time and effort of building that base, it should not be able to be undone in a quarter of the time that it took you to build the base. So you have to make sure that there's that balance, and it is all about balance, which will honestly probably take a while to find, because you have to make sure that bases can be raided. They're not impenetrable, but the bases are also able to be destroyed. A feature that would make raiding bases a little more balanced, in my opinion, is somehow protecting the bases so they couldn't be raided while that player is offline. We have building decay, so if a player logs off and never comes back on, the buildings will decay. So that way you don't have a bunch of empty bases that no one's playing on the server, so they decay over time when no one logs on. If you have online and offline raiding, it is going to protect the bases. So for instance, I log off the server, my base can't be raided. Okay? I log on the server, my base can be raided. Obviously, it could be exploited quite a bit. Someone's getting raided, they're losing, they log off. So there has to be some way to find that protection. Maybe that offline raiding, maybe you have to have a generator to power it. Maybe it's some sort of machine. Maybe it's just a flag you put down that takes a whole lot of resources to craft. So there's going to be a balance, and I would love to get your guys' opinion on it down in the comments. But what is that balance, and where do we find it? So anyway, just to summarize what I've talked about, again, my big point is that if building is not changed from 3, there's going to be very little motivation to build a base in Unturned 2 when you have sleepers and people are raiding it right away. So we want to try to change the building. My suggestions for changing the building: make those items used to raid bases, gate them off, make them end game, or at least very late mid game. Another one of my suggestions would be to make bases stronger. Okay, remember, we want to make sure that someone doesn't spend 3 hours building a base only to have it raided in 3 minutes. And then finally, my last feature that we talked about is offline raiding. What do you guys think of having an item you have to power with a generator, or it's like a claim flag that prevents a base from being raided while that player is offline who has claimed that flag or turned on that machine? I think that it's a very, very good idea, and there's definitely ways we can balance it. I'd love to get your opinion on it, so let me know down below. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like on it, hit that subscribe button, and click that bell to be notified when I post a new video. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate every single one of you, and until next time, peace.